All right. Welcome, you guys. This is our part two of Compassionate Leadership podcast. Today, I have two special guests with me. Thank you guys for joining me. I have all the way from Houston, Texas. I have Shirlita Travis that is on the line. And Shirlita, what property are you at?
Grand Estates Woodlands.
Granite States Woodlands. And then, of course, we have all the way from Austin, Texas, not too far away. We have Marivel Garza. Marivel, what property are you at?
Mansions 54.
And just so we can get a little bit of background about your expertise when it comes to management, um, Marivel, how long have you been in a management role, whether it be property management or any other role before?
So it's been about 10 years
Okay,
I've been in management.
very, very cool. It's a long time to be in that type of role. So I'm sure you learned a lot along the way.
Yes.
How about you, Shirlita? How long have you been in a management type role?
Management, I was like 10, 12 years.
Okay.
Management. But overall, in the multifamily industry, it's about almost 20 years.
Oh my goodness. How about you, Marivel? Same?
Yes. Started in 2004 is when I got my first leasing agent position. So it's been a long time.
Same here. So 2004 was when I became my first leasing consultant, and it's like we get stuck in this industry and don't ever leave. But the nice thing about it, there's always growth and ways we can develop into something new and continue to move forward. Well, like I said, this is part two of our podcast. This podcast that we're going over is over compassionate leadership. So hopefully you saw the first video before viewing this second section. Just to catch you up on what compassionate leadership is. Compassionate leadership is when we create a culture where your people can not only develop, but also thrive. Recognizing that every person is not only an individual person, but an essential block in the foundation of our team. Compassionate leadership focuses on what is best for the individual, the entire team, our company, and considers what factors may impact a situation that is present. So, when it comes to compassionate leadership, once again, not to confuse compassionate leadership with empathy. Empathy is when we take a perspective and feeling of another person. Compassion is when those feelings are thoughts, prompts us to help, and compassion refers to both a feeling and an action. So, with that said, I have a few questions. So my questions are to get to know what you guys feel when it comes to compassionate leadership, um, how you may have come across certain situations, how you've handled it, and just to get some advice from you. You guys are the experts, and one of the things I really believe in is peer-to-peer learning. And there's nothing like getting some expert managers like yourself to share your knowledge that we can help thrive newly appointed managers or assistant managers that are looking to be a manager pretty soon. That's what we're all about W3 is making sure we're developing and thriving. All right, so question number one. Let's see. So I told you guys what I thought of compassion and empathy. Um, my question is to Shirlita, what is the difference between sympathy and empathy?
So, empathy is um, relating to someone that may be experiencing something. Um, Sympathy is showing concern, if that makes sense. You can empathize with someone. I know I'm using the word to define the word,
Sure.
but by just trying to maybe stand in their shoes for the moment and understand what it is they're going through. And sympathy is when um, you're just, it's an action where you just go out to try to show that person that you care.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with that. So definitely a difference between the two. Marivel, so one of the questions I have on here is in displaying compassion, because since we are talking about compassionate leadership, when it comes to displaying compassion, is a compassionate response always related to a negative feeling, or could it be related to something positive as well?
No, I definitely think it can be towards something positive. There's a lot of things that each person or each employee that we all go through, like in our personal lives or, even, obviously here at work, different experiences that we have. So I think that you can definitely relate and have compassion for things, that are great, that are going on in their lives, or things that they're successful at, or something that they overcame. So
Sure.
that, you can definitely relate and, to those things as well, not just negative things.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like showing compassion doesn't always have to be like, oh, this person
Yeah.
has a loved one that just passed, or oh, this person, is not doing well on their numbers. It's like you said, celebrating their wins, celebrating the things that they worked on that are getting better on. So that's awesome. Shirlita, how do you respond with compassion? Like, what's an example of if you're going to show a way that you could be compassionate towards somebody? What's an example that you've encountered?
I think just showing up, being available, just being there is a form of compassion, making yourself available to, to people, just letting them know that, hey, I'm here if you need help, if you need support, you can call me. I can, whatever way I can be of assistance to you, that's compassion.
Okay. How about you, Marivel? What's an example that you feel like you've actually had to show compassion when it came to one of those circumstances?
So I've been with my team for quite a while, the same leasing team and maintenance team, and all of us combined have gone through loss of our families. Different members have, lost family members throughout these years that we've been together. So that's definitely something that I've been able to show compassion to, because I understand what they're going through and what they're feeling. And also, we get down sometimes at work when we have several residents that are upset. We had an experience this past week where a resident called and was just being really nasty to one of my leasing agents on the phone. And, I just had to take her aside and sit with her and just say, let's just take a breath and, just take a moment and calm down and let's talk about this. So there's definitely a lot of moments where you can show compassion.
True, definitely. So I know that you said, Shirley, kind of letting them know that you're here, letting them know that you're available, especially in our industry. We do have a lot of turnover. We have a lot of retention that we work on. And sometimes we have shuffling of teams around, right? So we get new people all the time that we're comfortable with this manager. Now they're there with you. So it's always important to raise those levels of trust, especially when it comes to having your door open. We're used to, oh, my door is always open. You can come talk to me. How do you raise levels of trust amongst your people that you manage? So I can kind of give this to both y'all. I can go with Shirlita first. What would be a great way that you can help them trust you and let them feel like, okay, I can go to her when it comes to this kind of stuff?
For me, I mean, just doing what you say you're going, do what you say you're going to do. Lead by example. If you see you're a new agent that is not used to working in your office, kind of going out, stepping out of your office and getting on the leasing floor with them and just helping them, maybe helping them close, just making them feel that you are there to support them and that you are committed to their growth and being successful. I think that builds trust when they see that, she's right here to help me, or he's right here to help me, through any challenge that I face on the leasing floor, or even if it's with a peer a coworker, a colleague, just being there to help them through those difficult times.
I like what you said. Do what you say that you're going to do. So follow through is a really big one. How about you, Marivel? What's a way that you kind of help raise levels of trust?
I think what Shirlita said was great. With trust, there has to be dependability. So they have to be able to depend on you, that you are going to do what you say and say what you do. So I think that that's great, what Shirlita said.
Awesome. All right, let's see. Since we're talking about loyalty, talking about trust, what actions have you personally found help with loyalty and reducing employee turnover? So I'll give that one to Marivel. What actions have you personally found help with loyalty and reducing employee turnover?
So I communicate with my team a lot. I think effective communication, just them knowing what your expectations are, is great, and just communicating with them. I definitely have a lot of fun with my team, and I'll work alongside them no matter what they're doing, getting out on the property. And they know that I will be right there with them no matter what it is that they're doing. There's no job too small or big for me that I won't help them with. So
I will say that to your credit, I had an assistant manager I spoke to recently about you. When I was trying to get names, like which manager should I use? This assistant was like, I really didn't want to leave her. She was one of my favorites. So you
that's
you
so
have
sweet.
you have a lot of team members that I see that have been with you since I've been with the company, and it's been more than 2 years, and they're still with you and working
Yeah.
side by side, which is great.
Yes, thank you.
Sure. All right, Shirlita, I got this one for you. Some managers may feel that celebrating birthdays, taking a new hire to lunch, or acknowledging life-changing events are irrelevant in managing a team. Um, how do you feel by not celebrating these events affect compassionate leadership?
It definitely affects it because I had to scale back celebrating birthdays because I would go overboard with, celebrating a birthday, because for one, taking time out the day to celebrate somebody's birthday at work, I think it makes it, just putting everything on pause to celebrate this person. It's a small gesture, but it's
Sure,
huge,
it's huge to them.
yeah, absolutely. So I think just kind of like there's a birthday and we not acknowledge it, it kind of does something to the morale of an individual, But and when you have developed a culture of we're going to celebrate your birthday in an office setting, people look forward to that.
Sure.
So I think it's important to celebrate birthdays. I mean, because again, you're celebrating life. You have to make it human too. It's business, but also you have to take out time to celebrate life.
What about you, Marivel? And the same question when it comes to like taking a new hire to lunch on their first day or first week. Um, do you think that's irrelevant, or you think that's something that actually helps build toward compassionate leadership?
Oh, I definitely think it's a great thing to do. It builds that relationship, and it gives you time to get to know them one-on-one, not just, in an office setting, but just to get to know them, who they are as a person. So I think taking time to spend time with your employees like that is great.
Awesome. Yeah, it really does help with the engagement. It helps build really confiding relationships within your team. So, especially the ability for them to know that each other celebrate a day that's just them. So I think that's
Right.
awesome. Let's see. What are some strengths you feel you would need to have to successfully lead with compassion? I'll ask Marivel. So, what are some strengths you feel you would need to have to successfully lead with compassion?
Being able to see somebody as a human being, not just your employee, and understanding the load that they carry at work, and also that they have things going on outside of work, outside of the office. So if you can't relate to a person as a human being, and you just see them as an employee, I think that that's really detrimental to the relationships that you'll have with your employees. So I think it's just really important for you to be able to understand that we're all human beings.
Sure.
And we all work hard, and it's really important to see that.
I see you nodding your head, Shirlita. Any add-ons to that?
Yeah, I definitely agree to what she's saying that, it kind of goes back to the birthday, we are, especially during these times with a pandemic, you don't really know what people are dealing with outside of work. And, just taking a moment to try again to empathize with your team and encourage them and support them. And at the same time, I don't think how can you lead and not want to see people succeed? And people tend to thrive when they feel good about where they're working, who they're working with, and why they're doing it.
Sure. I think for just kind of to go on that, like for example, myself, I don't have kids, I don't have significant other, it's just mostly me. So when I come to work, it becomes my work family. It becomes like a big part of everybody that I see 5 days a week, what's going on in their lives, who got engaged, whose birthday, and so on, who's having a good day. You learn to kind of listen and be in tune to their feelings and thoughts when it comes to who they are as a person.
Yes.
So Shirlita, next question for you, Shirlita. What are some weaknesses you feel would affect your success to lead with compassion? So what are some weaknesses you feel would affect your success to lead with compassion?
Okay. Just being transparent. I cannot handle being at the bottom. That can definitely affect me being passionate real fast.
I can see that definitely.
So I become a totally different person when I feel like I'm not at the top of my game,
Okay.
So I struggle with that, and I will work till the end of the night to figure it out. And I want the same energy around me. So, I can definitely fall short if things aren't looking good number wise fast.
And you're human, and we all are. So we all can't expect each other to all play at the same level that we all that you are. Maybe you know what I mean. We're all on different ones. So we all have to work together. What about you, Marivel? What do you feel like are some weaknesses that would not lead to somebody being able to be a compassionate leader?
Not understanding the needs of your team, what they need from you to help them to be successful.
I think from experience for myself, some managers that I've worked with that didn't show compassionate leadership, they were just very about their benefit on them looking good for the reports and numbers and goals, that we took the back seat of the team. We were just a number, or we were just employees. We weren't a part of the team. They got celebrated, but we didn't get as part of that celebration. So it's always, in order to be I feel like a compassionate leader, you need to be able to, like you said, be in tune your employees, be on top of your game, and also just make sure you're aware of it.
And if you also have to understand that it's a we, it's not an I. Like you can't do anything without your team. It's not one person failing; it's the whole team is failing.
Right.
Everybody's important. And when it comes to the success of your team.
Yeah, when one team member is not in tune, you can definitely feel the trickle effect throughout the whole team.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right, Marivel, the question for you. Are you comfortable with verbal or written communication when it comes to one-on-one with your teammates? So
I'm good with both. So I find myself sometimes, it's a quick email to everybody, if I'm super busy, like, hey, just a reminder, but I'm comfortable with both. Like I said, I've worked with my team for a long time, and I know them, they know me. I'm super talkative. I'm very approachable. They know me. And so I'm good with talking to them, emailing them. Either one is effective for me.
Okay. How about you, Shirlita? So when it comes to communication, sometimes we all know that words are very powerful, right? So words can either build you up or they can tear you down. So it's always important to how we communicate. Say you're going to communicate with somebody in a in a way where you have to kind of get after them. Is it better for you to do it? What's more comfortable for you? Is it verbal or written, or how do you do it to where it doesn't come across where you're own personal feelings come into play there?
So verbal, if I'm having to address something serious, you know, if they're at work.
Because I would say, as Mama Bear, you probably scare me a little bit with the verbal. I'd be like, yes, ma'am.
But you know, verbal, you know, I'm both. You know, written, verbal. I can get my point across either way. You know, sometimes some things have to be addressed one-on-one, you know, that way, because you may think one thing, you know, about the situation. You may be looking at it from one perspective, but you need to hear that person side of the story, you know, whereas you may be looking at I don't know, just I think it's important with certain situations, you need to talk through it so that you don't just develop an opinion based on your own feelings.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree. If it's something more serious, definitely talk to them, you know, one-on-one, because sometimes, you know, in writing can come across, like she was saying, a different type of way.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest, I'm the worst communicator when it comes to written. I'll type out an email to somebody and I'm like, oh my God, that sounded really mean. But I didn't really mean it mean. I was just to the point. So I agree. Verbal and written are really important. It just depends on how and what levels of communication you're going to be doing and that compassion level that you're going to be giving.
Yeah. It's just like, you know, one of my pet peeves, and I'm guilty of it too sometimes, but you set the tone, especially if it's written, you set the tone first by speaking. Nowadays, we're moving so fast that we'll just shoot off an email and we don't even realize we didn't even speak to that person. We didn't address that person with good morning, good evening, you know, or hello, how, you know, we've gotten so far away from just common courtesy. And you don't know what type of morning that person has just walked into. And then you just you open up your email and it's like, you know. So I think we just need to kind of relax and let's start speaking to people again.
No, that's true. Like you could have definitely, one of y'all could have had a really pressing call from corporate of how we're in the red zone now, and your employees get in. You're like, hey, I need y'all to do this right away, instead of, hey guys, welcome.
Yeah.
Hope you're having a good morning. I got some snacks
Right.
here. Let's talk. And we're in the weeds. We got to get this up. It's all about your delivery and all about how you address it.
First.
All right. So Marivel, this question for you. Can too much empathy or too much support have a negative impact on the receiver? Might they end up becoming dependent on you as someone that's maybe babying them or just kind of giving them too much support? So can too much support or empathy have a negative impact?
Absolutely. Yes.
Any examples?
No, I won't share anything, but yes, I think that they can become too dependent on you. Okay. It doesn't give them an opportunity to grow. And sometimes I think they can start to manipulate you, I think, if you're not careful with those things, always wanting you to feel sorry for them or certain types of things. I think it's just a fine line between that, you know, respect and love type thing.
Right. And especially depending on what the situation may be too. That could be easily where you're able to manipulate you after that. Like after, okay, I did this here. And then now.
Yes.
Got it. How about you, Shirlita? What do you think? You think that it can have a negative impact as well?
Absolutely. Because, you know, we are dealing with adults at work and you still have to hold people accountable.
Adults? What? I'm just kidding.
Right. You know, because, you know, if not that same situation that they came to you about 2 months ago, 5 times, 3 months down the road, they'll be coming to you about it 20 times. And they want the same reaction. And you really essentially failed that person. You stunted their growth.
That's good. Yeah, definitely.
Very true. So I have three last questions for you guys that I'm going to ask each of you. And then we should be done for today. And I appreciate your time and making time for me today. This first question is for Marivel. How would your team describe you as a manager? And same question for Shirlita after.
I would think that they would say that I'm very fair, that I effectively communicate with them, that they know what my expectations are. They definitely would say that I'm very silly. I have a lot of fun with them, and I love that. So I think that that's what they would say.
Okay, perfect. How about you, Shirlita? How would your team describe you as a manager?
Committed, strong, optimistic. I try to see the bright side of everything, you know. That I'm caring, I'm definitely compassionate. And that I'm just, I'm a team player.
I would say most of my experiences at majority of the properties, you managers are actually probably the silliest pranksters that I've run across. If I find another rat or snake in any of my stuff, I don't know what to do.
That's how you know we love you. We've got to play around with you.
Yeah, there's the stuff that I found and stuff that's been on me.
Yeah. You have to share that video.
Oh Lord, no. All right, question number 2. Shirlita, then Marivel, the same question. Shirlita, how do you recognize the achievements of others?
I love to celebrate. And I just any excuse, let's celebrate. I love seeing people succeed, especially someone that I may be a mentor to, helping them groom into their career. Just celebrate them and encourage them and let them know that you're proud of them.
Okay, that goes a long way. How about you, Marivel? How do you recognize the achievements of others?
The same, exactly what Shirlita said. I think I tell them how proud I am of them and their accomplishments and the things that they've done. Sometimes by little gifts or things like that, just to say thank you. I appreciate you. So I definitely like to do. I'm a verbal person, so I'll tell them a lot, like every day, thank you for everything you did today. Have a great day. So I think that's important.
I think with myself, like I don't have a team per se, but just kind of working with my team, like some of my cohorts, I will randomly just text my boss or somebody and let them know how much I appreciate them and how awesome of a person or a boss they are. Just little things like that we don't normally say, I think goes a long way, especially if it's so personalized.
Yes.
Let's see, last question here. Shirlita, how do you encourage higher levels of engagement with your team? And then Marivel. So how do you encourage higher levels of engagement with your team?
By setting expectations. My expectations are pretty high. I believe, I guess they say overachiever. I learn people personality types, and that's what I push. Whatever it is that they're great at, that's what I push them toward. So and them knowing the goal at the end of the day, and just letting them know that that's the goal, and that's where we stop it until we get the next goal.
You're like, I'm gonna walk around here all day and encourage you with my pom-pom song and get you going. How about you, Marivel? How do you encourage higher levels of engagement with your team?
I think like Shirlita said, you have to let them know what that expectation is, what it is that y'all are needing to accomplish, what goals that you have. I think that that's really important.
I heard both you guys say goals. Do you guys have your goals written out for your team as far as something visual so they can see? That way they know they're achieving it each day.
Yes, the leasing board, manifestation. It may not be an apartment number up there, but there's definitely a circle waiting on the apartment number.
A circle, a smiley face, something. Got it. All right. Well, those are the only questions I have for you today. I really appreciate you guys taking the time. I hope it didn't feel like a job interview. If so, I would hire you guys both on the spot.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, once again, thank you guys. For everybody else watching, please check out the first video, Compassionate Leadership Part 1. And this is the Part 2 podcast. And thank you, ladies, again. And thank you, W3 family. Bye.
Thank you, Eric. Bye. Bye,
Bye-bye.
Shirlita. Have a good one.